High as hell when I'm in the clouds. That's that space shit. Elevated, I'm elevated.
Hey y'all, this is Divine Destiny. Welcome back. This is going to be a pick a card for February 13th. It is the day before Valentine's Day. I hope everybody's feeling the love. All right. This actually was originally supposed to be messages from your twin flames higher self for, kind of like a Valentine's Day thing. But at the last minute, it was changed to what our higher selves want to tell us. And I think the reason for that is because we really do need to keep focusing on loving ourselves. And, especially around this time of year, it's so easy to get kind of sucked into the commercialization of Valentine's Day and needing to have someone to go out with. And, I think it's important to remember that we need to love ourselves first and foremost. So it is now going to be messages from your higher self. So that is today's pick a card. We have 3 options like usual. Tiny shell. Oops. Oopsie. Look at my OCD self. Oh no, it's out of order. Tiny shell, big shell, medium shell. So those are the options you have. I will go quiet for a little bit so you guys can kind of, take a deep breath and really figure out which one really calls to you. Maybe it's going to be just one. Maybe you'll have 2 that really speak to you. Maybe you just want to stick around and watch the whole thing. Whatever is fine. When you're reading for a collective, there's really so many different energies that you're reading for. So not everything is always going to probably resonate. Take what resonates and don't worry about what doesn't. Just have no expectations going into this. I think that's really probably the best way to do any kind of tarot reading, is to really not have any expectations, to just kind of go with the flow and whatever kind of resonates with you. All right, so I'm going to be quiet in a little bit here. Let me know at the end of the video, at the end of watching your little segments, what you felt, how you resonated with it. If you're not friends with me on Instagram, Divine Destiny 1111, please go follow me on there. I give away little free readings and stuff, so it's a lot of fun. All right, I think that's it. All right, I'm gonna be quiet. So deep breath, and whatever one speaks to you. All right, good luck. PayPal number 1. All right. So, what does your higher self want you to know? A lot of good stuff. I don't even know where to start. All right. I guess I'll start how I usually do. All right. Very cool. Okay. We're going to start with this one because it's probably the less, I don't know. It's a good card. It's just less cheerful than the rest of them, I think. 10 of Fire is, it would be in the regular tarot. It's that guy who's carrying like all those sticks at the same time, like just way too much stuff going on. He reminds me of, the person that instead of making like a few trips back and forth to the car, like, or asking someone to help them, they just load all the bags themselves. So they have like 80 bags in their hands and they're just like slowly trying to get to the door just because they don't want to make more than one trip. Okay, that's this card. That's what this person is doing. So I think what your higher self would like you to know is that it's okay to ask for help. I know. And I get like this a lot of times too. I don't think to ask for help. I just try to do it myself. It's not that I don't want help. I don't really think to you can ask for it. So, you know, either you're working too hard or you're not working smart enough. You know, maybe there's a way that you can kind of lower your workload a little bit and do things a little bit more smart in a way. I really feel that, you know, if there's any like imbalance in your life, it's something that can be fixed, as far as related to stress, work, that kind of situation. I really do think that if you were to go out of your way and ask for help, you could lower your workload a little bit. And it's not, you know, nobody that you would ask would see it as weakness. Nobody would be like, oh, she's having to ask for help. Oh God, that's not, you know, what would be happening. So it's okay to ask for help if you need it. It's necessary sometimes. Sometimes we are put in positions that we have to ask for help just so we can learn how to do that. You know, especially if you're a person like me, you know, I've been put in plenty of situations where I have to ask for help how to do something. And it's because I need to learn to do that. You know, if there's nothing wrong with it, there's nothing, you know, you don't have to do everything yourself. You don't have to shoulder every burden yourself. You don't have to, you know, carry everyone's weight yourself. You don't need to. You don't need to prove yourself that much. You don't. Because all you're doing is giving yourself stress. You're making yourself tired. You're not going to be as motivated. We need to get back to doing things in a way that doesn't burn us out. You know, I've been going through that with my tarot. Like, tarot is one thing I love to do. I could do it whenever. I mean, even at the end of the longest, crappiest day, I would still be doing it. But doing it so much wasn't working for me. I was getting drained. I mean, I was putting out videos like every and with what I'm doing, that doesn't work for me. It's just too much. It's too much energy I'm giving. It's just too much. So that's why now I'm doing, they might be longer videos, but they're a couple days in between. I'm able to recharge. I'm able to feel better about myself, you know. So I had to kind of move things around to better suit myself. So I think that's what you need to do here is you need to kind of really take an honest look. You know, it's okay if you, you know, have limits. And it's great if you know them. You know, I could, if I wanted to, I could put out a video every day and just be exhausted but I don't want to. I like smiling, you know, so I'm not going to. If I feel like doing, you know, a video every day, I'll do it. If I don't, guess who you're not going to hear from for a day or two. Sorry, but, you know, my peace of mind is more important, and yours should be too. You should be only concerned with, you know, how it's making you feel and not what others may think about it. I think that's like a big lesson for a lot of us. Some of you may even have, now I don't like to do any kind of medical, I just don't, you know what I mean? So if something feels off to you, you need to go see a doctor, see, you know, I don't know what, just get yourself checked up if there's really something that's not sitting well with you. So, you know, I'm not saying there is, but if you feel like there is, there's your confirmation. You need to go get it checked out. You're a very hard worker. You know, nobody, I think, would challenge that, you know, so give yourself a bit of a break. You know, let yourself relax a little bit. Smarter, not harder. Because what happens is, I think, you know, the quality that you end up putting out when you're in a better frame of mind is better than just a lot. You know, you can put out a lot of work, do a lot of stuff, but the quality of the work that you're putting out, I don't think really speaks very much. But if you're able to really kind of relax and take your time on things, that quality will be, it would be seen a little bit more. So take it easy. You know, it's not a race. It's not, you know, the only person you should be trying to be better than is yourself yesterday. So chill. All right, now we got that out of the way. The next cards are actually really wonderful. So I think it's, I really do think it's a way of them telling you you're on the right path here. The Empress. The Empress is, I love the Empress so much. She is just abundant. She is creative. She's creative as hell. Everything that she kind of does is just very successful, fruitful. She's able to birth new ideas. She's able to birth just abundance in general. Her dreams, she's able to really understand and go for what she wants. But she's also able to take care of herself. And I think that goes back now to the first card. You really do need to, whether it's adopting a new morning or nightly routine, maybe it's just like spending more time with yourself, you know, whatever that is, whatever self-love is to you. Maybe it's exercising, maybe it's, I don't know what, yoga. You know, whatever more self-love is, I think you would really benefit from. Because, you know, you are an Empress. You need to embody that energy. Empress energy is beautiful. It's nurturing. It's caring. You know, in most of every deck that I've seen, most Empresses, they're either pregnant or they have a baby in their arms. You know, so it really is, it's like a motherly, able to care for, able to nurture and grow. You know, you're really able to kind of take an idea, and this doesn't have to be kids, you know, take an idea, take a thought that you have, birth it into creation, and then nurture it so it grows. That's what this energy is. You know, this isn't just about, you know, having babies and, you know, I mean, it can be in the right, you know, context with the right cards surrounding it, but usually it's not. It's not about that. You know, the Empress is someone who's very divinely guided in a way, because she's of the earth, but she's also very connected to heavenly realms. It's usually why you'll see her, again, in just about every card, she'll have like a staff, some kind of a wand in her hand, and what that does is it represents her connection to the lower realms, her connection to the upper realm. She's connected to everything, which is why she's so abundant. She's, you know, she's really broken past that duality mentality of things. She's just everything. And you are everything. You really need to remember that. You know, the more that you nurture yourself and you have a change of how you feel about yourself, self-love, how you look at yourself, everything around you will change. It just does. When you change what's going on within you, everything on the outside will mirror that. Everything on the outside will change that. So to nurture yourself is the best and easiest, if we're honest, way to nurture everyone else around you. You're kind of killing two birds with one stone here. So this really is, for all you moms out there, I'm going to tell you the secret. Are you listening? Okay. The more you focus on yourself, the more you nurture yourself, the more you care about yourself, the more you take time to, and I'm not talking like, Tara lady told me I can go hang out at the bar because I allowed to take time myself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is do your nails, you know, go for a walk, take an extra long shower, take a bath, you know, do something to kind of thank yourself, to love on yourself a little bit. you know, and by doing that, you will automatically send love and nurturing to everyone around you, because everyone around you is getting that. When you do that, you're building like this, it's almost like an aura, I guess, like a bubble of just love that surrounds you. And the more you do that, the wider it can expand. And whoever is in that bubble, like, so the people that are living with you, the people that you're working with, the people you're closest to, they're going to feel that. And it's automatically going to change their vibration. So it is really, honestly, the easiest and best way to change anything going on in your life is to put as much, and it's great because it's fun, right? Who doesn't want to put a bunch of energy into themselves? My daughter. You know, what's nicer than spending some time on yourself? I love, you know, when the kids are in bed, you know, I'll take a nice long shower or a tub, or even just exercising, doing some yoga, playing around on a guitar, like doing something that's, you know, interests me, something that is focusing on myself. You know, I'm not saying to be selfish in a way that's, you know, detrimental to other people. I'm saying, you know, to be selfish for yourself. You know, if you could love someone else so much, then you can love yourself that much. You know, I think the problem is with a lot of people is they just don't even know where to start. You know, like I have friends that I talk to, you know, and I'm like, you know, if you could, what would you do if you had some time by yourself? And most of them have not had any time to themselves. They've been so connected to their kids or their spouses or their job, you know, that they don't even know who they are or what they're doing anymore. You know, and we need to get away from that. We need to get back to making ourselves a priority, because that is what really changes everything in your life. That's the secret. And it's incredibly simple, I know, but it's the truth. We really need to recognize what our dreams are, you know, and make sure that we're not living for anyone else as well. You know, I had to add that. So keep that in mind. All right. Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is a wish card. It is just beautiful, complete emotional fulfillment, like in a familial kind of way, family, emotions, love, energy, everything is just abundant and just satisfying, just really wonderful. I think this is just a way of saying that you've worked really hard. You've been trying really hard lately. And I think that if you really do continue, and especially if you apply this, what, you know, I would talk to you about there, in addition to, you know, kind of relaxing a little bit, I think that this really will be your home life. This will be your life. You know, it's something that will happen inevitably if you do the work. You know, this type of a environment, you know, really does start with energy. It's getting your emotions healthy, getting your thoughts healthy, getting your vibration healthy. You know, we need to make sure that we're being, you know, in a vibration and a energy that's very positive, but not positive to where you're lying with yourself. Okay, positive, I mean, yeah, things can be shit, but they're not going to always be like that. You know, I think people really, when they think of spiritual people and they think of like staying positive, they think like you have to be like super happy all the time. No, being positive isn't being happy all the time. That's not what being positive is. Being positive is when You're like, today has been the shittiest fucking day ever, but you know what? I get to start a new day tomorrow. That's being positive. And it's also being truthful and honest. So you're already also doing other things you need to do just by being honest with yourself. You know, things aren't always perfect, but we can make the best of them. That's being positive. Not everything's fine, and everything's not fine. That's not being positive. That's lying to yourself. You know, I think we really do need to value and be thankful for a lot of the relationships we have in our lives. I think that regardless of what they might look like, sometimes we really do need to keep them kind of safe and tucked into a place that's very just grateful. You know, there are so many people that I think we really take advantage of, or not advantage of, but take for granted for having in our lives. And we really need to be more aware of those people. It's easy to kind of just expect someone to be there, to just expect someone to answer, to expect, you know what I mean? But we can't. Things happen. We can't always expect that. So we need to be grateful while we have it. You know, to see your kids, to, you know, yeah, can they be, oh my God, you want to rip your hair out? Of course, they're kids. But you know what? There's going to come a day when they move up, when they grow up, they grow up and they move out and they leave, and you're going to be like, shit. You know, I wish I could go back to those times where I was like, and hug them. You know, these are things that, you know, if you talk to people who have kids that move away, they tell you, and they're not telling you just, you know, I know you hear like, yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. But it's, you know, it must be the truth if every single person you talk to says it. You know, you will miss, there will come a day where you will miss the noise. You will miss, you know, the clinginess. You will miss them wanting to give you a hug or hang out with you. You'll miss that. You know, so it's important to, no matter how hard it is, to really try to keep a grateful frame of mind. There are some people that aren't even able to see their kids anymore. You know, my best friend, I'm still very close with his mom, and that's just the worst thing ever. You know, he died, and a piece of her died with him. You know, so if you have your children and can hug them, then you should be very, very grateful, because some people can't even hug their kids anymore. And they would give anything to be able to. Happiness is really just a state of mind, you know. It really starts within you. It's an inside job for sure. Three of Cups. I love Three of Cups. Me and my sister love Three of Cups, and my mom, because that's like our card. That's what it's like when we get together. I just love it. It's so much fun. Just celebrations, you know, things to really be excited over. I think that you probably have a lot of good stuff coming. We need to be open to them. We need to be optimistic and kind of expectant of them. You know, I know a lot of people have been feeling that things are coming, things are changing, and they are. But not if we're blocking them. So we really need to stay open. We need to stay just open. Keep everything open. Open to receive. I am open to receive. Something good to say. Receive abundance. Receive love. Receive whatever you're trying to receive. I think your higher self is very proud. You know, if you're not really supposed to look back too much, you know, but if you do, I think it should be to become aware of how far you've come. How I can look back just 6 months ago and I'm not the same person I was, you know, and that's really what this is about. If you're looking back and a year ago you're the same person, you should probably do something about that. Because you should be growing, you should be learning. People change because their experiences change them. I think that, you know, while it's hard to notice the change, you know, if you really were to go back and look a couple years ago at yourself, you know, I know that 10-year challenge was like really popular recently, but, you know, we should be doing, you know, 1-year challenge, 6-month challenge, 3-month challenge. You know, how are you different from a week ago? You know, how are you growing? How are you learning? These are things that, you know, and it's not just about like, you know, oh, look, look at how many cars I've gotten in 10 years. Look at how many houses I bought. Look at how many, like, that's not even, that doesn't even matter. Like, yeah, it's great to be successful if if you've grown that much in success in 10 years, that's wonderful. In business sense, that's great. But how have you grown spiritually? How have you grown mentally? How have you grown physically? How have you grown emotionally? You know, these are things that I think at the end of the day mean a lot more than how many Lambos you have. So that's something that we really need to be working on, is how we can continue to evolve. Don't get me wrong, it's great if you have Lambos. That's wonderful. Good for you. Like, that's serious. That's not a, you know, nothing to sneeze at. You know, I'm not like hating on you or anything. I think that's great. I just, you know, there's so many other things to life that really are of substance that I don't think people give enough credit to. For those of you that haven't been socializing, and if you are these people, you'll know it. You need to reconnect with people, like-minded people. If you don't have any left, then you need to start, you know, opening yourself up to find it. And when you need someone, people will come. That's, you know, once you're ready and you're open to have people, they'll start coming in. Your people, they'll start showing up. You know, that's why I'm so excited over, you know, my YouTube and stuff. It's like I'm slowly building an entire tribe of like-minded people. And I think it's great because everyone, you know, you tap into a certain collective, you know, when you're doing this, and that's kind of like your people you resonate with. So like everyone who's watching this and really resonating with me, we're all in the same collective together, which is kind of cool. You know, so we're all like-minded, but you do need to remember that you need people, you know. It's nice to have people. It's nice to have friends. It's nice to go places. It's nice to do things that just celebrate being alive. You know, you don't necessarily have to have anyone. One of my favorite things to do, honestly, whenever I can, I'll squeeze in like a lunch by myself. Just by myself. It's quiet. You know, it doesn't happen very often ever. But when it does, it's like magical. You know, because it's quiet and I can just eat slowly, quietly, be by myself, and it's just wonderful. You know, so if we can get back to doing things that really make us kind of excited and just happy to be us, that'll help a lot. Ooh, listening. This can go two ways. For some of you, you need to listen. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, or you just need to listen a little better. They've been trying to talk to you. Maybe you have heard them. Maybe you've heard that little voice inside of you saying, do this, or go here, or remember that person? You know, listen to it. You obviously aren't, but you need to. For the other side of this, they want you to know that your team is listening. Those prayers, those thoughts, those things, you know, anything you think, and it's, if you think about it, it's kind of like, because they hear everything. They know everything that's going on in your brain. Your spirit team, man, they wow. When you sign up to do that for somebody, to be a guide, that's like Like, I've thought about it. Like, I can only imagine, like, at some point in my life, they must have been just like, you know, you know, but they hear everything. So, you know, your prayers and your dreams, they haven't fallen on deaf ears. They really haven't. They're always listening, and they hear you, and they try to acknowledge it. They want you to know they try to acknowledge it, usually by songs. They'll acknowledge it by, you know, lyrics, birds, animals, feathers. You know, I find all those little heart rocks everywhere I go. Like, there's always some way that they're trying to reach you. You know, so you really need to kind of open yourself up. And if you think to yourself, oh, that's weird, it's not weird. It's supposed to be there. It means something. You know, numbers, repeating numbers. Pay attention. You know, I have a friend of mine who really wasn't into, you know, any kind of that stuff. You know, I've been telling her for a long time now about this stuff, you know, and she finally, I guess, it clicked the other day, and she's like, I believe now, because something had happened, and she, like, then she saw an animal, and it kind of, like, just like, it was that snowball effect that happens, you know, when you start noticing things, and then you look up the meanings, and you know, and, like, it really all came true, and she was just like, I'm like, yeah, I've been telling you, you know. But it's funny that when you finally kind of, you realize it, that it's going on. It's just so special, and always be very thankful for it. I thank mine every day for the synchronicities that I get. I just think it's so great. I'm very thankful for it. All right. There you go. I hope that was able to help you. I hope it was really informative. It was a really great message from your higher self. So I'm going to leave you with that today. If you like this, please subscribe and let me know that you resonated with it in the comments. If you have a pick a card suggestion for me, I would love to hear it. Please just put it down in the comments. If you need personal readings, DivineDestinyTarot.com. I think that's about it. Yeah. Oh, I didn't actually mention my sister at all. If you don't know who my sister is, which I don't know why you wouldn't if you listen to me. I talk about her in every video. If you don't know who she is, DarlingDTarot. She is my featured channel on my page there, and she is absolutely amazing. You need to go follow her. She's just under 7,000 subscribers. Yeah! So I am like so excited. We're all so excited. Like every day we check her, we're like, yeah! So if you haven't subscribed to her, please go subscribe. Tell her, you know, you're one of my subscribers and you came to see her. I'm trying to talk her into, and she had suggested that she was gonna buy her chihuahua that she has a lobster suit when she hits 7,000 subscribers. She does, like, you know, these little, like, inside incentives, you know, like when I hit 5,000 subscribers, I'll, you know, go out to dinner. It's really adorable. So 7,000, she wants to, you know, get the dog a lobster suit. So let's make it happen. Go subscribe. All right. Tell her I sent you. All right. Bye. Okay, pile number 2. All right. What does your higher self want you to know? Very cool. All right, we're going to start. We'll start here. All right, so 6 of Earth. 6 of Earth would be 6 of Pentacles. It's sometimes seen as a charity card. It's giving your money, your time, attention, you know, that sort of thing, giving that to other people. I feel that if you're not in this energy yet to where you're giving it, I feel like maybe you're in a position right now to where you're receiving it. Some of you are going to be on the receiving end of this. Some of you are going to be on the giving end. You know, for those of you that are on the receiving end, everything that you are doing, you know, what you're getting, what you're learning, you know, these are things that you really need to understand in order to eventually become the person on the other side of this. So to one day be the person that is able to give money, to give time, to give effort and advice, like a mentor, to be a mentor to somebody, you need to learn the lessons. You need to learn the things you need to learn in order to be in a position where you can help other people. And by doing that is you start from the bottom, you work your way up, you learn what you need to, you have the experiences, and you grow, you know, and then one day you're in that position to help someone else. You know, for those of you who are on the other end of that, you know, where you're the one giving that out, you need to think back and remember, you know, when you used to be on the receiving end, you know, do you remember what that was like? Do you remember, you know, how far you've come, how, you know, how you may have felt when you were there? It's nice to, you know, be looked at as a mentor. It's nice to be looked at as somebody who is wise or has, you know, experience that's useful to somebody. But we need to remember to stay kind of humble in that it's good to be confident. It's good to be, you know, aware of, you know, how much you've accomplished. That's wonderful. You should definitely be your biggest fan. But we should never be acting like, you know, people owe us things, acting like, you know, they're blessed just to talk to us. You know, that's not, nobody is better than anyone else. I don't care who they are. You know, so you can't act like you weren't exactly where they are at this moment in time, because you were. And I guarantee you there's somebody even farther ahead than you that, you know, probably could look at you that way. Should they? No. Could they? Yeah, they probably could. You know, and everyone has different areas that they're really abundant in. You know, some people, I think, focus more on business. Some people might focus more on love. Some people, family, friends. You know, there's all different kind of, you know, playing fields for this type of dynamic to play out. But whichever arena it's in, you really need to remember that the shoe has been on the other foot before, and you need to just remember that. This also could be a I don't want to say a career change or a career opportunity, because it's, for some of you, you might, since I brought it up, you might be doing like a career change or thinking about changing careers a little bit. But I think only if it's something that really tips the scales, like in a way that's, because that's what was being brought to my attention, was the scales on here. So if there's something that really like kind of, you know, yokes yourself in a direction, consider it. If it doesn't, I wouldn't think too much about it. I wouldn't concern yourself. You know, if something really does seem like it's just, you have to do it, then you need to do it. Right now, I think it would be considered a golden opportunity. So any golden opportunities that come your way, jump on them. You know, it's also is seen as payments, seen as making good on payments. So maybe you're fulfilling some karma. You're, you know, paying off some spiritual debts that you had, balancing those scales in a way. I think that's really great if you're able to kind of like learn these lessons, figure these experiences out, and move forward from them. That's wonderful. You know, anything you can do to kind of get off that wheel. Any opportunity you have to help somebody, you need to take it. Even if it's not somebody, even if it's not somebody you want to help. Some of you will know what that means. You know. I'm sure some of you have somebody you can think of like this motherfucker. Of all the people that need my help. This motherfucker. Right? Help them. I know. Help them. You know, sometimes it's not even about, I know pentacles, you know, a lot of people think, oh, it must be money. It's not even about money all the time. It's, you know, anything earthly. It's anything you experience on earth. It could be time. Time is a man-made construct. It could be effort, you know, physical effort. It could be emotional support. It could be a whole, you know, range of different things to give someone a gift. There are lots of ways to be present for somebody. So you need to recognize that. Alright. Six of Water is one of my, I love Six of Water. It's Six of Cups and in the regular tarot. And it's just a beautiful card. Sometimes it'll relate to past lives, past life soulmates, childhood, reminiscing, looking at things like in remembrance, kind of, you know, when you think back, you know, about certain things nicely, like they're usually like really nice kind of thoughts and ideas. And, you know, I think this is telling you okay. It's easy to look back and think things were a lot better than they were. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you might have, you know, Joe from, you know, 11th grade that you know, reconnected with, and you had those really super great, wonderful couple months with, and you're remembering how wonderful it was to sit and gaze into each other's eyes. Yeah, that's great, you know, but think a little harder. Do you remember what it was like also when Joe was, you know, going crazy and punching holes in the walls and, you know what I mean, just acting a fool? Like, you need to remember that stuff too. You know, don't romanticize the past just because it feels good. You know what I mean? If something wasn't right, if something wasn't as rosy or as, you know, rose-colored as you might be remembering it, you need to remember it the correct way. Because that's how we get ourselves into trouble, right? You remember things better than they were. It's good. Oh yeah, I remember the connection and how wonderful it was. Well, do you remember them, you know, being an asshole and just like leaving? Do you remember, what do you remember? You know what I mean? Like, you need to be really honest with yourself about how you feel and memories that you have. If they bother you, if you have hurt from them, there's where you need to start working on healing. I think some of you actually might need to dig into your childhood. I think there might be, and not just one thing either, like there might be quite a few things from your childhood that you really need to kind of work on. You know, it's easy to look back and, you know, remember really great times. You know, sometimes we, over the years, really do a good job of making ourselves forget really bad things that happen, you know, and it's just so we can function, you know, so we can go about our day-to-day lives, so we can just soldier through another day. I get it. But these are all things that you really do have to go back and take a look at. You can't just, you know, leave them, well, I'll just keep pushing them way deep down and hopefully one day they won't bubble on up and explode out of me, you know. They will. They'll do that. So you can't expect them not to, because they will. You know, it says issues regarding children. The more I look into that, the more I feel into that. Honestly, anybody who might be going, there might be a couple of you going through something with a child right now. I don't believe it's going to end badly. I think everything's going to be fine. Okay, so for those of you who have some sort of thing going on with kids right now, a worry or some kind of, I don't know, some kind of issue going on with maybe your children, it'll be fine. They'll be fine. Six of Cups, especially because I do like I'll do like a lot of twin flame readings. You know, Six of Cup in that context usually for me is a past life connection. Usually, always. That's what that card will come up to me as. It'll be like a past life kind of a person, someone you've shared quite a bit of time with, lives, scenarios, simulations, whatever you want to call them. You know, you guys have run plenty simulations together. You know, you definitely have a definite connection and a definite program that the two of you run when you connect. So that would be something to, if you have someone in your life that you kind of feel that way about, to really look into that. If you haven't figured out what it is, maybe do some, you know, past life regressions, maybe do some even guided meditations for past life regression on past life soulmates. If you're very close to them, I don't know how close you are, like in proximity to them, but if you guys would both be into soul gazing, just staring at each other in the eyes, that is doing that for a long amount of time. You can see all sorts of things. So you can see basically into somebody. 10-10. Huh. But there's definitely something from somebody's a past life that keeps coming back, and your higher self really wants you to be aware of it for some reason. I'm not sure if it's just to learn from. I'm not sure if it's, for some of you, it's going to be because there's a lesson there. There's some kind of cycle that's really trying to close out, I think, and you need to figure out what it is. For others, it's a beginning of a cycle. You know, it's something, again, you need to recognize. But it's important. All right. Seven of Pentacles. I love the Seven of Pentacles. I'm prone to being in that kind of a energy, you know, that's like a daydreaming, you know, And that's great. You're kind of just waiting for everything to just come to you. Because you know it's coming. You know, you've done the work, you've planted the seeds, you've tended to it, you've done the things you need to, and you know it's coming. You know, so you're just kind of like sitting thinking about it. And it's great, right? It is. You're right. It is great to do that, you know, especially if you've done the work. If you haven't done the work, you shouldn't be doing this. Okay? You shouldn't. You're wasting time. And we don't always have the time that we think we do. So if you're not doing the work, then this would be called daydreaming. And that's not helping you. That's an escape. Okay? If you find yourself doing that, that's an escape from your daily life. So you need to figure out what it is that you're exactly trying to get away from. Okay, so we can stop doing that. It's good to it's fine to daydream every once in a while, you know what I mean? But I mean when there's plenty of work to be done, see all the work he has to do, to put it all aside so you can think about things, you know, that really haven't even happened. They might not even happen. You don't know. You know what I mean? So that's just wasting time. So if you are the one daydreaming like that, stop wasting time. You really, like, this is your spiritual wake-up call, you know, your spiritual ass kicking to get moving here. You really need to move your ass a little bit and get going. But for those of you who have done the work, I think it's very necessary to remain expectant and excited, and yes, to spend a little time kind of envisioning how wonderful it's going to be when it finally gets here. You know, to be positive, to be all those things is so important. So important. If you have work to do it. Yeah, definitely do it. Some of you, okay, some of you are doing this, are thinking and taking time to think, but you're thinking very pessimistically. Like, you're not thinking optimistically at all. You're very well, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if such and such finds so and so and they run off into the sunset together? You need to cut it out. You know who you are. You need to stop. Seriously. Do you know what a self-fulfilling prophecy is? That's when you make something happen because you think about it too much. You need to stop. This is your spiritual wake-up call. You need to stop. Okay? Just as, you know, thinking too great about, well, living in the clouds and all that is not helpful. This is definitely not helpful either, to think that way. If you're going to think about something, spend any time thinking about something, it damn sure better be what you want to happen. Okay? So if you catch yourself thinking about something, no. And my sister, she had shown me a really great technique. She uses Archangel Michael to cancel kind of any not positive thoughts that she sends out, you know, and kind of resets her intentions that way. So you can call upon Archangel Michael to help. He has his sword of truth, and that really can cut through any illusion that you're dealing with at the moment, including fear-driven thoughts. You know, something might trigger you, and that triggers, you know, a fear-driven response within you that you can't just go, well, I can't help it. Yes, you can. You can recognize that you're doing it, and you can stop doing it. So do that. Immediately once you find yourself thinking about that, think about something you do want. What is, like, always have one thing in the back of your head you know you want for sure. And the second you realize you're doing this, switch to that thought. Okay. Yeah, so if you're not being positive, you need to start, because you don't want it to happen just because you thought it would happen. Alright. Yeah. So Three of Swords. Three of Swords can be directly related to the last person I was describing here. Swords are usually thoughts, ideas, belief systems, okay? So anything that is you're thinking, okay, that is stabbing your heart, that is making it bleed and hurt and just feel horrible, we need to stop that. Okay? We really don't need that. We need to be grateful. We need to switch automatically to a vibration of being grateful for what we already have, being grateful for what we know is coming into our lives that we haven't received yet. We need to really always do things from a point of view that we're very thankful for what we have and we're grateful for what is coming. By being grateful, we are able to kind of put ourselves automatically in a higher vibration. Okay, despite what our brain might have cooked up as the next ridiculous scenario to come up in our lives, you know, like these things that are just, they make no sense, like under any circumstance would it ever probably happen, but our brains are coming up with them, right? And they're making us feel like shit. How do I know? I've done it, obviously. You know, everybody has done this. It's not like you're some super special, horrible, shitty person that does this. Like, everybody's done this. You know, it's just a matter of training yourself to kind of rethink. You know, when you have a trigger, something happens, it makes you think about this. Take a note of what that trigger was so you can go back later and work on that and figure out what that was on a deeper level. But don't spend any more time thinking about it. As soon as you realize you're doing it, switch to that one thought that automatically makes you feel good. Okay, that one place, that one person, that one thing that no matter what it is, the scenario is, you feel good. Okay, what you really want to manifest. That's what you need to switch into. Feel it, see it, believe it, live it. Okay, that's what's going to help you get out of this. So eventually, once you have these things happen, you'll be able to kind of effortlessly move back into a more high vibrational state than staying stuck in this, you know, fear-driven shitstorm that's brewing in your brain right then. You know, everybody when they see this card, it's another one of those cards that people see and they're like, you know, it's like, it's calm down. It's not always, you know, heartbreak and you know, somebody's cheating on you and dun dun dun. That's not always what this card is. This card is more than anything, swords are usually thoughts. You know, so any thought that is really hurting you, you know, here it's those thoughts that you think and you're like, ugh. You know, it's that, you know, everything's great. There's not a care in the world. There's no reason why you should be distrustful. But here comes the thought. He's got 18 other girlfriends. They happen. You know, it happens. It really isn't something you need to beat yourself up over. It just happens. Wow. Okay, so that's a message that we really need to take very seriously. Don't let fear-based thinking ruin you, okay? Switch out of it. Switch into something that you know will make you happy. Even if you can't do it in your brain, if you know going outside will automatically put you in a good mood, go outside. 5 minutes. Whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing, go outside. You know, I get like that. Sometimes I'll be, you know, especially if I've been inside for a long time, then I know I have to go outside. I have to sometimes. Call somebody. I will usually call my sister. You know, if I'm upset, I'll call my sister because she will immediately put me in a better mood. DarlingDTarot, if you don't know who that is. You should know by now who my sister is. Please go follow her. She's absolutely amazing. Almost to 7,000 subscribers. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. Like, she's always wanted to do what she's doing right now, and it's just so cute. It really is. It's adorable, and I love it. And I'm, like, so proud of, like, I got her into it. I was like, yeah. You know? So it's just cool. Please go follow her. She's really great. But she automatically will put me in a better mood. So I'll usually try to call her. You know, if she don't answer, then I try my mom. Hi, Mom. I love you. No, it's kind of hit or miss. It's either or. They both really will usually always put me in a better mood. Or I just go outside if nobody answers the phone, which happens sometimes. I'm kidding. All right. Last card would be power. I think they really want you to own it. Some of you are starting to really recognize, I think, how powerful you are, what your power is, how to use it, how to harness it. I think people are really starting to grasp the concept there, and I think that's wonderful. But I think for some of you, there still is some doubt. You know, you might have these thoughts of how powerful you are, and then you go, nah, that's crazy. No, it's not. You really are that powerful. You can do anything you want to. And, like, it's not like, I'm not trying to be, like, one of those cheesy, like, you can do anything you think of. No, like, honestly, you can do anything you want to. Anything. There's really no limitations. And once you kind of admit that to yourself, it's nice. Then you're choosing to do everything you do. And to live like that is much better than feeling stuck or, you know, like you're just having to live somewhere in someone's life. And no, you honestly have the ability to manifest anything you want. And once you realize that, you are no longer stuck places because you're choosing to be there. You're choosing it. So, you know, you're not powerless. You know, to be stuck in, it's that the Eight of Swords energy. It's that girl that's just like, she's all tied up and she's stuck on all those swords and she's like blindfolded and just stuck there. But the only thing that's keeping there is her thoughts because she doesn't recognize her own power. That's all it is. If she knew her power, she would know that she could just get right out of those bindings. Like she could just do this and cut herself right out. Like it's not that big of a deal. And once you realize that, you know, you're not stuck. For those of you who are dealing with the flip side of this where you don't realize how powerful you are, once you realize it and you realize you're not stuck, that's going to help you a lot. Because I feel like a lot of you really do feel like you're kind of stuck where you're at, and that's not the case. It might seem like that, it might look like that, but that's just because that's how you're seeing it. If you were to go in, again, change your perception, change things that you're thinking, that would change as well. It's from the inside out, it has to be. You can't change anything outside of you and expect your internal condition to change. It won't. The only way to change everything is to change within yourself. You know? It's the only way to do it. You know, like, you hear all this stuff, and it's like when you first start getting into, like, spiritual stuff, you hear these things, and it's like, I don't know for everyone else, but for me, it's like, oh, God. That again? Yeah, surrender. I get it. Ugh. You know, like, you hear this stuff, and you're just like, oh, shut up. I get it. You know, go within. You know, yeah. It's, at first, it's kind of like, ugh, stop preaching. But then you get to a point, you're like, it's kind of true. You know, so just give it a good old college try, you know. All right, I really hope that that is helpful to somebody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Let's see here. Yeah, that was long enough. Okay, I talked about my sister. I talked about subscribing. What else do I need? I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? What am I missing here? I'm not sure. Oh, hold on. Oh, all right. Kids, right? Okay. If you need a reading, more personalized reading, DarlingDTarot.com. That's my website. I have all sorts of different things there, so go check that out. I think that's it. All right, I'm going to move on to pile number 3. I hope everyone has a really great day. Bye. Oh, if you have suggestions, that's what I was trying to think of. If you have suggestions for another reading or pick a card that you'd like to see happen, put it down in the comments, and I'd love to do it. All right? All right, bye. Hey, pile number 3. All right, so who's ready to see what their higher self has to say? I usually start with my the Doreen Virtue Angel cards, but I'm actually going to start with the healing card for you guys. It's self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is something that I'm currently practicing with my horrible hair right now. Yeah, it's rainy and it's yuck out, and I took my hair out and it was a mess. So I accept myself 100%. So if you don't like my hair, I don't know what to tell you. Go somewhere else. Because we accept ourselves around here. Basically, you know, along this, and especially, you know, with a twin flame type of journey, spiritual journey, you know, you are going to eventually come to a place where you have to accept yourself. You have to. There's really no getting around it. And it's not the easiest thing to do. There's always, for everyone has things that they don't necessarily think are the best qualities about them, you know, whether it's a physical feature, maybe it's an emotional thing, a mental aspect of yourself that you just don't like. You know, there's always something, you know, that somebody has to get over. It's not like anybody is just perfect. You know, I don't believe that anybody is perfect. You know, so everyone has this kind of personal battle, I think, going on, you know, and it's, the thing is, it's, the weird thing about self-acceptance is it's not, I don't think that we don't accept them. I think that we don't think other people will accept them, the things that are wrong with us. So it's really not a matter of sometimes of us accepting it. It's, we worry what other people are going to think, you know, and that's really not a good way to live. You know, it's, I feel like there are some of you that are very hard on yourselves, very hard on yourselves. You do not talk to yourself the right way. Okay. You really need to stop that. We can't be talking to ourselves in a very negative way. You are wonderful. You're amazing. You really need to start treating yourself that you are. You know, for those of you who are dealing with a physical aspect of yourself that you are having a really hard time getting over, I don't know if some of it's, I feel like some of it might be from having children, maybe something from having children, I don't know, stretch marks or whatever it is. You know, you just haven't gotten back to that pre-baby weight or whatever it is. So some of you are really dealing with a physical issue here. I want you to really think about why you're having that issue. Like, what is it that it bothers you? Is it bothers you that, you know, somebody else might think something about it? Is it just something that bothers you personally? What are the reasons you have against it? You know, we've been programmed, you know, by the media, by movies and magazines to think that we need to have these flawless bodies all the time, when in reality, the models that take those pictures, they don't even have bodies like that. They're airbrushed, they're photoshopped. I do modeling, and believe me, I am nowhere near perfect, okay? Sometimes pictures come back and I'll see the final picture and I'll be like, that looks nothing like me. You know, so you can't really, you know, base what value is for someone on what you see in the media, what you see in, you know, magazines and stuff, because it's crap. It's all smoke and mirrors. None of it's real. You know, it's just clever tricks with photography. It's lighting. It's, you know, none of it's real. You know, all of those people, you know, and I'm, you know, I've worked on things with other models too, and it's like all of them, like I spent time like watching, like all of them had things that might be considered defects, you know, in the eyes of a lot of people. And it's just, it's incredible. Like there's no such thing as a perfect person, you know. And these girls were like gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, you know. But if you talk to them, they have issues. They see, you know, their cellulite. They see their thighs are too big. They have, believe me, the most beautiful woman you can imagine will have a list of things that she had to get over or is currently getting over about herself. You know, and sometimes it's just a matter of doing things that really kind of push you to accept yourself. Like me right now. Like there was a time, honestly, I would not have done this video. Like right now, like I'd have been like, oh, fuck that. No, my hair is a mess. I look shit. We're not doing it. You know, because I was very concerned with appearances. Which I still like to look presentable. You know, I really do. I'm, you know, a Leo. I do like looking pretty. I like that. I like taking time and making myself looking nice, and that's just like my thing. You know, but it's not what it was before. You know, I know that, you know, that's not where my value is. My value isn't in how pretty I look today. My value right now is how many people I can help with what I'm doing. You know, that's where my value is. So it's really, and it's not just like one day you wake up and you're just all better. Like it's a learning process. There are things you're going to have to do and learn and remind yourself that it's okay to not have them be perfect. You are perfect imperfectly. You are imperfectly perfect in every way. You know, you're created exactly how you were supposed to be. You know, you helped design it, you know, and the person that ultimately will love you 100% unconditionally does not see any issues. Okay, so if you're with somebody and they're, you know, kind of dogging on you about something, then guess what? They're just passing through your life anyway, and it doesn't matter. So don't even worry about what they're thinking, because the person that's meant to love you won't care. They won't. It won't matter to them if your thighs are a little thick. It won't matter if you have stretch marks. It won't matter if your hair's frizzy and just a hot mess that day. They're going to be like, wow, she's so pretty. It doesn't matter. You know, at least that's what I'm banking on. Sure hoping. So we really need to accept ourselves. You know, there are so many other things, you know, to be thinking about, and what other people think is not one of them. We just don't have time for it, right? So I think if your higher self could tell you something, it would be to accept yourself 100%, which includes accepting your flaws. You know, you don't just accept the parts of you that are great. You know, it's like doing shadow work. You know, you accept all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything. Every little bit of you have to accept. So. You know, I originally had started out It was kind of funny how it happened. I wanted to do messages from your twin flame's higher self. And I did the first thing, and it kind of turned into, no, I need to do higher self. So, because I plan on doing something for Valentine's Day, you know, like a twin flame romantic kind of reading. And, like, it just changed very suddenly out of nowhere. And, you know, I think that's really important. You know, I think that especially around this time of year, with how commercialized Valentine's Day has become, I think people focus too much on other people. You know, I don't believe that you need to wait till Valentine's Day to show someone you love them. I don't think that you need to wait once a year to take a loved one out to dinner. To honestly, I don't go out on like days like that. I don't go out. No, too many people, too much going on. I'll stay home. No thanks. No, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just a commercialized shit show, and I'm just, you know, no. Anyway, so I wanted to change it to, or I was guided to change. I didn't want to. I didn't plan on this shit. I was guided to change it to, you know, about us, about our higher selves. Because I really think it's important that we kind of keep ourselves in the forefront. You know, I love doing the pick of cards, and I think they're so much fun. They're different. You know, it's not like the normal reading where it's always the same damn thing over and over again. You know, you have options with pick of cards, and I love doing them. You know, I want to make sure that people are not getting lost in these readings. It's so easy to look at twin flame readings and kind of get lost in them, and before you know it, you've spent 30 minutes listening and you're no better off, you know. You still don't know who it is, you still don't know, you know, all sorts of stuff. It's not helping in a way. You know, the only thing along this twin flame journey that's really honestly going to help you is working on yourself. That's it. You know, and if that means, you know, not having any contact, if that means, you know, then that's what it means. You know, you have to focus on yourself. You have to grow. And whoever is meant to be in your life will understand that. And if they don't, guess who's not meant to be in your life? It's that simple. At least it's going to be with me. You know, I'm not gonna. So. Ace of Earth. Ace of Earth is a wonderful card. It's Ace of Pentacles. Again, I always see, like, springtime, March, for some reason, when I get Ace of Pentacles. And for a while, I was drawing that card, and it was really pointing out that something great was going to happen around that time, which I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in March. It could be, I'm actually going out to Colorado for a week. Yay! I'm going to go visit my mom, my sister. I'm so excited for a whole week. Dana, my sister, DarlingDTarot. If you aren't subscribed, go subscribe. She's doing her first show ever. And I'm so excited. I'm going to get to be there right next to her by her side through the whole thing. So I'm so excited to actually be there with her for that, because it's really, it's a big deal. So that'll be really cool. So yeah, if anyone's in the Colorado area, 23rd and 24th, there's a show there. So you guys can go to that. I'll give more information if you want it. Ace of Earth is really great because it's basically like something great just being handed. Okay, I really do think that they want you to know that great things are coming. You know, and I know it's easy that you kind of get in that, oh yeah, I've been hearing that for a while. Great things are coming. Things are going to change. You've been saying that for a while. And it's true. It can feel like that. There is no really, time is like a man-made construct. So there's really no time for, you know, the other side. It's not like they're like, well, you know, we're running out of time. No, you just, when you do what you need to do, then what needs to come will come. You know, if it's not coming yet, it's either not time or you're not ready. So, but it is coming. You know, so I think they really want to point out to you. And I feel like there's really been, I don't know if whoever's been, I don't know if you've been headaches. I feel headaches. Just general run down feeling. I don't know if it's stress. I don't know if it's just, you just are not in a very good place right now. I just feel like you're tired. You're tired of waiting. You're tired of, and you shouldn't be waiting. You should not be waiting. Waiting for what? What are you waiting for? We don't wait. Who told you that? We don't wait. No. We work on our own shit. We stay in our own lane and we keep moving forward. Okay? Eventually, what's going to happen is you keep moving forward, hopefully the person that you're supposed to be with is doing the same thing. And then eventually, boom, that's what happens, okay? But if you're just waiting, okay? You're just waiting, you're not moving, and here comes your person. Do you see? You're not ever going to meet up because you're not doing the work. We don't wait. We don't wait around. We're not waiting for nobody, okay? You can stay, you can go. Don't give a shit to me. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter. Okay? Because I'm going to keep going, and whoever is supposed to, it's going to happen. It's not, you know what I mean? There's no waiting. I'm not waiting for anyone. You shouldn't be waiting for anybody. You know, this is not a waiting game. This is a building yourself up game. This is a making you the best version of yourself game. This is working on your dreams game, okay? And none of that needs to include anyone else whatsoever. Has nothing to do with anyone else. Your happiness does not depend on anyone else. Even, you know, this whole twin flame stuff. That is not your happiness, okay? It's not. Things are beginning, you know, and I think it's hard at first to kind of notice things building, things happening, especially like, you know, when you're living it. You know, it's hard to notice somebody changing. Like if you live with somebody, you know, and you might not notice that they look different within 6 months because you look at them every day, you see them slowly changing. But for somebody who's not seen that person in 6 months, they'd be like, oh, you look thinner, or you look, you know what I mean? Like they can notice a change because they've not seen it. It's when you're able to kind of step back and look at things from a different perspective, I think then you'll be able to see that things really are moving forward. While they might not be moving as quickly as you'd like them to be, they are moving. And that's what's important. It's really not about how fast you go. It's just the fact that you're going, period. Okay? There's, like I said, there's no such thing as time. You know? You know, people, you know, that whole, the problem is you think you have time quote. We don't have time. There is no time. It's an illusion. It's bullshit. Okay? So do what you need to do when you need to do it. Pretty much. I do feel like springtime is going to be important for a lot of people. Ace of Earth, Ace of Pentacles can bring abundance. It can bring money. It can bring business. You know, so if these are areas that you've been working on, they're going to start picking up. I know you probably are like, yeah, okay. They will, you know, but it's not going to be like this huge, you know, like confetti and, you know, like, you know, you might not even realize it, which is why it's important to be grateful. If if we're not in a grateful state of mind, if we're not, you know, practicing gratefulness every single day, you'll never recognize it. You'll never recognize the blessings coming your way. Just waking up is a blessing. You know, once we can get back to that mindset, I think you'd be a lot better off. King of Air. King of Air is the King of Swords. I actually had him on my Instagram, Divine Destiny 1111, if you're not following me on there. He's truthful, he's honest, he's kind, he is very intelligent. He's, I don't want to say blunt, but he's, sharp isn't a good one either. Like, forgive me. Sharp? No, that's not. It's, brutally honest, but not in a mean way. You know, he just speaks his truth. You know, in every situation, no matter if it's gonna really piss someone off or they're gonna be like, ugh, you know, he doesn't care. He's gonna be honest and truthful about what is important to him. You know, that's something we need to really be making sure we're doing in every area. And that's not just with, you know, things we say, but, you know, be honest with yourself about going places. Do you really feel like going somewhere? No? Don't go. You know, like, I'm not clamoring to go out tomorrow and find, you know, no. Be honest with myself, I don't go fucking anywhere. You know, so that's what we really need to be. We really need to focus on being as honest as possible with ourselves. Okay, and we don't, as long as you're being kind about it, you don't need to worry about hurting someone, because they can just get over it. They can. It's, you know, if your truth screws up somebody that much, then they need to go find someone else to hang out with, because they obviously shouldn't be around you. You know, we should never be afraid to be brutally honest with ourselves and the people around us. They're either going to agree and respect you, or they're going to disagree and respect you, or they're just going to disagree and be like, I don't want to be around you. In that case, be very thankful that they're just removing themselves from your life, because you don't need people like that around you. You want people that, you know, while they might not agree with you, they still accept your decision, your answer, and your thoughts on it. You know, we need people who accept us, not people who, you know, tell us we have to be what they want us to be in their life. If that's the case, kick rocks. I don't need you in my life. You know, I got enough people who support me, who know that I do things the reason I do them, that support my decisions. That's fine if I got one less. It's not, you know, somebody else will, you know, you make room, somebody else will come in. The universe always sends somebody, you know, so it's really, you know, when people disagree with you or people leave you, be very thankful, because it's obvious they weren't supposed to be in your life anyway. So when you can look at it that way, I think it takes somewhat of a weight off of us. King of Air is also very, he's very mentally strong. He's very balanced mentally and emotionally. He's kind of in charge of that. Like, nothing is gonna happen within his mind that's really gonna throw him off his course, screw him up, detour him. You know, and you know how that happens. It's like you'll be doing really great, and all of a sudden you'll get that little voice in there, this isn't gonna work, you'll never do it. But like that little voice that just tries to, like, you know, insert some doubt in you, he'd be like, nah, fuck you, get out of here. Okay? Again, if you need help with that, with negative thinking, Archangel Michael, he can help with that. He also deals with truth. That's kind of his thing. So call on him and he will be more than happy to come help you and make you stronger, intellectually and, you know, emotionally in that area. We do need to make sure that we're keeping our mental attitude in check. You know, it's very important to know how we're doing mentally. Would you give yourself, you know, if you had to give yourself a mental report card, how would you rate yourself? You know, are you always trying to be kind to yourself? Are you always supportive? Are you always, you know, just understanding? Or are you mean? You know, are you nasty to yourself? You know, I had seen a meme one time, and it had said, you know, if something to the effect of, if everything you've ever thought about yourself was written on your skin, what would it say? And that really kind of always stuck with me after I read that, because it's very true. And that's how powerful words are. They really do. They affect everything. Thoughts are so powerful. You know, so think about it that way. If you were to, you know, think something, would you want that written on you for other people? Like, you know, you hate yourself, you hate, you know, would you want that? So we need to really be focused. Somebody has a hell of a headache. Oh my gosh. Drink water, I guess. Drink more water. Or just ask, there might be downloads, you might be getting downloads, so you might need to ask them to just kind of like tone it down a bit. You know, sometimes they'll just like try to give you as much as possible, and then you gotta be like, chill out, you know. So try that if that doesn't work. King of Air is very, he's not one to really like take sides. Like, he really can see both sides of things. So I think this is a nice way of saying that you really need to be a little bit more impartial about things. You know, if you disagree, that's fine. You know, it doesn't need to be a big production. You know, let's be real honest with yourself. Most people don't give a shit. They don't. Oh, you disagree? Okay. That's just about all we need to know. It doesn't matter. You know, we don't need to spend time convincing people or convincing ourselves of things. You either feel a way or you don't. Things can be very simple if you allow them to be. Five of Swords. You know, most people wouldn't, you know, it's funny, the cards that like a lot of people really like get like freaked out about, you know, like, are the cards that I'm like, they're not bad cards. But the cards that people are like, it doesn't look that bad, I hate. Like these, ugh. Five of Swords is just fuckery. It's just, ugh. Too much going on in your brain, manipulation, you name it. It's just, it's not where you need to be. It's not, and it could be driving people away from you. Or it could be the other way around, where you have a lot of people doing that to you, and you need to let them walk away. Okay? If people are walking away from you and they're, you know, see, they're dropping all these swords, and here comes this guy picking them up, like, those are my swords, I want those swords now. No, we're not trying to pick up emotional or psychological baggage from other people. We don't want any of it. We probably got plenty of our own, okay? So we don't need to be collecting any more from anybody else. All right? We need to make sure that we are not manipulative. We need to make sure that we're not falling into, especially, you know, I don't want to like pick on air signs or, you know, swords energy, but they can be very manipulative. They, you know, and it's because they're so good with words. You know, these air signs are very, they're just very good at talking. You know, the art of rhetoric, and they really have it. So I think they can kind of use it. They make a great lawyer. We need to make sure that we are not, what would be a good way of saying this? I hear underhanded. Don't be underhanded in anything. I think the best way to keep this energy from wreaking havoc in your life would be to just have very good intentions all the time. If you can make sure that your intentions are from a place of love and they're pure, you never need to worry about what you're doing that way, because that's what's going to come back to you, because what you put out, it comes back to you, first of all. Okay? And if your intentions are really good and people still are leaving, then they need to leave. Okay? Let them go. If people are trying to leave your life, if people need to leave your life, you need to let them go. It's not easy. I see holding on to a rope. Okay, so for some of you, I don't know if you've ever held on to a rope, but if you hold on to it enough and like you're pulling, it hurts. It burns you, it can cut you, it can really mess up your hands the tighter you hold. You know, I feel like that's what's going on. It's like something's pulling, and like the more like it pulls, the tighter you hold on to it. You know, so for the small amount of you that are really having something trying to pull out of your life, you need to let go of the rope. Be very careful with what your intentions are. Be careful what your reasons are for being around other people, for doing things with other people. You know, at this point, if somebody isn't, you know, a positive influence in your life, if they're not somebody that you think of and you go, that they're wonderful, either they're a mentor, they're helpful, they're good for me, we need to take our focus off of it, okay, and just kind of allow them to float on through and just continue on their way, okay? We don't need to be staying in this manipulative, controlling energy. Because I'm telling you, the longer you stay in there, the harder it's going to be. There's not even going to, it's just not even going to be anything like you want it to. You know, you'll have like this idea of exactly how you want it to be, and it'll be nothing like that, I guarantee it. Because you won't let go. You know, yes, we have free will. But what I found is surrendering to divine will is just so much easier. So much more peaceful. I really, you know, I was a habitual manipulator, you know, controller. I, you know, like to have, you know, scenarios that I know exactly what's going on, and I've created them, and I know how it's going to progress. And, you know, like life is just a big chess game to me, you know, so I get it. I understand the feeling, but it's nowhere near as wonderful as the feeling of actually letting go and just letting God, letting the universe, letting divine will have its way. Like that is what ultimately brought me the most peace I think I've ever felt, is just letting go and being like, you know what, wherever I'm supposed to end up, obviously I'll end up there. It's really not even worth beating myself up over. You know, as long as I'm learning the lessons I'm needing to do now, it doesn't matter. That's what we need to be, and we need to be able to kind of just let go. Don't be needing to control everything. It'll backfire. Four of Pentacles. I love Four of Pentacles. It's a wonderful card. This is my good investment card. Solid foundation. You know, if you were to get this, like if you were to be like, oh, a relationship between me and so, and I were to pull this card for you, that to me indicates a very great foundation, a lot of future success. While it might just be kind of beginning, there's enough of a foundation there to really establish a relationship. You know, this is my go-to card for making decisions financially, really any decision that I'm really kind of wrestling with. If I get this card, I know it's a green light because it shows that there's a good foundation. There is nothing more important, okay, than a good foundation. And for those of you that aren't, you know, with your twin flames, be thankful, okay? Because the more you're able to create a solid foundation to build upon, the stronger that relationship is going to be. If you were to, when you first found out about all this, get into a relationship with them, it wouldn't have worked. You know, I think that's where a lot of people do meet their twin flames, is, you know, when they still have a lot of work to do, you know, and then they come to, you know, the separation, and it's, you realize, okay, there was a need to be separated because it wouldn't have worked. And it's necessary. It's necessary because you realize how important starting off on the right foot is. You know, I'm sure there are maybe instances where it's been different, but to me, if the relationship doesn't start on, you know, a healthy, good manner, it's not going to last. And honestly, it's not even something I would even consider. So sometimes, you know, if things aren't the right situations, if it's not the right scenarios, it's just better just to be quiet. It's just better just to focus on yourself. Just get your own stuff done. You know, what this signifies to me ultimately is a need to invest in ourselves. If there's anything in this world, anything that you could invest in right now that will always pay out 100 times more than anything, it's yourself. At the end of the day, that's who you have. You know what I mean? We need to really be putting as much effort and as much love and as much attention into ourselves as we're willing to give other people. I know it's for a lot of people it's easier because that's how you were raised. If you go back to your childhood, you were raised to give and to love and to nurture and to, you know what I mean, to do it for everyone else. I get it. You know, it's a common, you know, theme for a lot of women, to love, and even men, you know, I shouldn't say just women, but, you know, to have that upbringing where, you know, you're more worried about what everyone else is feeling. And I've had to come to that. I've had to come to, you know, terms with not taking care of myself enough, not filling my own cup enough. We need to invest in ourselves, okay? You're always taking a risk when you invest in somebody else. There is never a risk when you invest in yourself. It's the only sure way you can make sure that you're going to get to exactly where you need to get to, honestly, is if you invest in yourself. And you have. I do think that, you know, for most of you have been. Oof. Something just like, ooh. Ugh, got like goosebumps. Who's thinking of me? I do think that a lot of us are really, we are doing it. But we need to keep reminding ourselves to do it. Okay? If you haven't come to the realization yet that a solid foundation is super important and that everything that has happened needs to happen, I think you will. Okay? A lot can happen quickly. So you can't be like, well, the situation I'm in and this. No. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Surrender. Give it up. You're not in control anyway. No matter how much free will you have, you know, it doesn't matter. All right. So for those of you really doing the work, good job. You know, for those of you who are having a hard time, good job. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. You know, you're just in the part of the journey that feels like that. There's stages and levels to everything, you know, and if you're not there yet, you will be. And it's really not something you need to worry about too much. Just really focus on yourself. Focus on growing. Okay? All right. I know tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and I really didn't plan on now doing another video. I might. I'm not sure. If you do have some kind of a suggestion for me for a video, let me know in the comments. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I really love building my little tribe, and I'm so thankful to talk to everyone and meet everyone. It's just been really great, and I'm so thankful for everyone who's really building my little tribe with me. I'm super excited to really find like-minded people, and that's what I think is probably the best part about this whole thing for me. Again, if this resonates with you, let me know. All right. I hope everyone has a really super great day. Try to love yourself as much as possible, okay? Seriously. It's important. Do something nice to yourself. Even if you're single, go get a spa or, do something. Just do something nice. Love yourself. Don't worry about loving other people too much. All right. Bye.